Everybody, Argent here, and people occasionally ask me about this. I think someone asked me about it once, and that's enough to say people regularly ask me about it. So I'd like to show you my magic deck. Well, I have like 5 or 6 decks. Maybe I'll show you them all. But this is a good one to start with. This is my main deck. This was my main deck since high school, so maybe like 6, 7 years now. This is my pride and joy. This is the one I actually would regularly beat people with. So this is a mono black control deck, so I'm just going to draw a hand and show you how this bad boy works. So we get a swamp, another swamp, another swamp. That's actually not bad. Consume spirit. Consume spirit. I didn't shuffle very well. And another swamp. I'm going to have to mulligan because it's a horrible first hand. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a professional. I'm a professional Magic player. Let's see. Reaver Demon, swamp, swamp, corrupt, swamp. Okay, so, or that's 5. I need to draw one more to take a proper mulligan. So this is kind of the sort of hand you'd get. Now, I'm going to, and you know what, we'll just take one more just for shits and giggles. So this is the kind of opening hand you might get. I'd probably take another mulligan if I hadn't already taken one, just because this has a really bad mana curve. This deck has really bad mana curve in general, though. So let's say I draw first. So the other person goes, I draw a Barter in Blood, and I pay a swamp, and then I end my turn. So then we get to my next turn, and I play another swamp, and yeah, I'm getting really bad draws. When am I actually going to get something worthwhile? So, Jesus. Maybe I just need to fix this. Maybe I've screwed up my mana curve too much, because I have a bunch of low... Just give me a second. Let me just reshuffle this and try again. Okay, let's try this again. I gotta get a decent starting hand eventually. Okay, here we go. This is starting to look like a real starting hand. Okay. Come on, give me some mana. Give me some mana. Okay, there's one. Fuck. I got 1 mana. So let's say okay, this is a pretty accurate portrayal of what a starting hand would look like for this deck. A good starting hand. So, I choose to draw. So the other player goes first, and they probably just play a land to do nothing. So I play a land, and I put the land down, and then I let the other person go. So they probably play a low-cost creature, and then end their turn. So I get to draw, and I draw a swamp. So what I'd probably do at this point is I would just terror it. Terror, for those of you who don't know, is one of the oldest, most basic removal spells in Magic. 2 mana, destroys target creature. I just have the old one because I like the artwork on it. So I end my turn. So they might play, I don't know, another creature card, and then I draw. And I have 3 swamps now. So if I didn't have Extraplanar Lens in my hand, I would probably search my deck for it. So I tap 3, I play Extraplanar Lens. I have a lot of fetch. I have this, which is kind of banned, but I have it because this was a casual deck. So this is Demonic Tutor. For 2, you can search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. It was so broken, they reprinted it as Diabolic Tutor, which costs 4. So I tap that, and then I play Extraplanar Lens. So Extraplanar Lens lets you remove a land from the game, and it doubles the amount of mana that the removed land produces. So then the other person goes, and they probably play, I don't know, a decent-sized creature to go after me with. So I untap, I draw, I don't have anything, but what I can do is I can tap 2, and I can play Demonic Tutor. So I'm going to search my deck. Let's see. In this case, bizarrely enough, a swamp is probably what I need. So then I'd let the other person go. So they'd play a second creature, and they'd probably swing at me. So I might take 3 damage, and now it's my turn. They have 2 creatures on the field, and I have 0. I get another swamp. So then let's see here, what should I do? So I tap 2, and I play Barter in Blood. So Barter in Blood is each player sacrifices 2 creatures. So they sacrifice both of their creatures. I have nothing in play, so it doesn't affect me, and I end my turn. They play probably another creature or some other spell, and then I get to go again. I draw another Barter in Blood. I tap I now have 8 mana. So I'll tap 3, which is 6, to play Nightmare. Nightmare is, I just have it partially here because it's super cool. So flying X, X, X equals the number of swamps you control. So it's the other person's turn. They might swing at me while Nightmare's weak. I don't care, I take a bit of damage. It doesn't really matter if you take a little bit of damage in this deck. So now I'm up to 5 swamps. So Nightmare becomes a 5/5 with flying. So what I can do now is I can tap 10, because this mana accelerates like crazy, and I can play this card, Sadistic Sacrament. If the kicker is played, you may look at target player's library and remove 15 cards in it from the game. Now this is basically a finisher, because you could go and remove all the lands in their deck, and then they're completely fucked. Or you could remove all their finishers or all their like stuff they need for a combo. So I basically blow their deck away, and then it's their turn, and maybe they get some stuff together and they swing at me, and it's I maybe just block it with Nightmare, just so I don't take any more damage. So then I draw, Consume Spirit. So then I'm going to I'll tap 3 to give me 6 mana, and I'll throw out an Innocent Blood, which is 1 mana, each player sacrifices a creature. That gets rid of their creature, and I play Magus of the Coffers. Magus of the Coffers for 2 mana adds an extra black tree mana pool for each swamp you control. So then they go, and then they probably play something else. So then it's my turn, and I draw Corrupt. So I'm going to shoot them with a Corrupt. So Corrupt deals damage to target player equal to the number of swamps you control, and then you gain that much life. So I shoot them for 5 at this point, and yeah, there's not a lot they can really do about that. They just take the damage. And I have Magus of the Coffers to block, so that gives me 5 life back, so that probably gets me back what I took earlier. So they probably play something else. Now I have lots of removal in this deck, so I'm just kind of biding my time. So if they have a decent-sized creature, I can shoot it with Unmake, which is remove target creature from the game. Excellent, one of the best removal cards ever. So then my next turn, I draw Mutilate, another great card. A lot of these are just kind of kill everything on the board, because until I play kind of a finisher, I don't have any creatures in this deck. So this is all creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn for each swamp you control. So let's say at this point they're just throwing out a huge number of creatures on the board, and I'm kind of getting overwhelmed. I can just go, okay, I'm going to play Mutilate. I kill everything in the board. Sure, it kills my Magus of the Coffers, but I take out more of their cards than I lose. So this is another one of my favorite cards. So let's say they play out a couple more creatures. So I'll tap 4, which is 8, to play Reaver Demon, probably my favorite creature in this deck. So Reaver Demon, whenever he comes into play, destroy all non-artifact, non-black creatures. So I nuke the board, and what's nice is because I have search cards in this deck, if I'm facing an opponent who just has a shit ton of powerful creatures and I'm kind of getting overwhelmed, I can search my deck for a Reaver Demon and then throw him out. So I play Reaver Demon. By this point in time, normally what happens is my opponent is running out of cards to play. Because the important thing in Magic is card advantage, so if you can destroy 2 creatures for 1 card, that's really good. So I'll tap 2, and I'll play Diabolic Tutor, search my library for a card, so I'll just do that off camera. And I will take Nirkana Revenant. So her effect is whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add an extra mana, and 1 black, she gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So I have enough mana to play her as well. So now I have 2 giant creatures. I can swing at them with Reaver Demon, and they probably can't block by this point in time. And now it's my turn, and I draw a swamp. So I have a couple ways I can win at this point. Each of my lands produces 3 mana, and I have 1, 2, or I guess 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So I can just go tap, and that'll do 16 damage to them and probably kill them. Or if they have no creatures, I can just pump her by 16 and swing at them for 20. And I can swing at her with him with Reaver Demon as well. And that's just kind of how this deck works. And then the next card was a Diabolic Tutor. So if I needed to just run something else, I can. And then I also have Corlash here to Blackblade, who's another equal to the number of swamps you control. So this whole deck is based on control. It has kind of a weird mana curve because it has a bunch of... It doesn't have any mid-range cards. It mainly just has finishers, as I like to call them, and like low-cost removal. So that's a mono black control deck. So that is my favorite deck. I have the Diabolic Tutor card cases on it. I hope that was interesting. I'll talk to you guys later.